Marhaba ya jama'a and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to learn about common idioms in the Levant region. First, let's discuss what an idiom is. Idioms are a type of figurative language used to express ideas in a more colorful, imaginative, or culturally specific way, often reflecting the values, humor, or wisdom of a particular culture or language group. Arabs specifically are historically a very expressive and poetic group. So over the centuries, there are various idioms that have been weaved into everyday conversational language. That's why, in addition to standard vocabulary, it is also important to learn about these cultural phrases. Today, we're going to learn some of these sayings that are used frequently in the Levant area, including Palestine, Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria. You'll notice that some of the idioms use more Levantine Arabic vocabulary, while others use older, more formal Arabic. It's akin to modern English versus Shakespeare English. So we'll start with the less formal idioms and then slowly transition into the formal ones. For each idiom, we'll learn how to say in Arabic, explore its literal meaning, that is the word for word translation in English, and then we'll also talk about what the actual meaning behind it is and give some examples. So let's jump right in. Our first one is طنجرة ولقيت غطاها. طنجرة ولقيت غطاها. The literal meaning for this is a pot and it found its lid. The meaning behind that means two things or people that are a perfect match for each other and have come together. For instance, two people who love to talk about films meet each other and fall in love. But this idiom can also be used in a more condescending manner. For instance, take this example. A student that is very hyperactive and plays pranks on teachers is enrolled into a class with a teacher that is notorious for giving students detention. In this case, the idiom is talking about a problem that found its solution. Let's hear the idiom one last time in Arabic. طنجرة ولقيت غطاها. Let's hear the next idiom. يلي فات مات. يلي فات مات. The literal meaning of this is what has passed is dead. The equivalent English meaning is let bygones be bygones. So don't dwell on the past, keep the past behind. So for instance, if you failed an exam, don't keep dwelling on it. Instead, focus on the present and do what you can to ace the next exam. So once again, the idiom is يلي فات مات. Next we have another rhyming idiom, which is خيرها في غيرها. خيرها في غيرها. The literal meaning is there's something better in another one. The English equivalent is better luck next time. This phrase is used to console someone when they don't get what they want by reassuring them that there are better things to come in the future. So for instance, if a student applies to a college and doesn't get in, this idiom can be used to console them, to assure them that they'll get into the next college and that will be better for them. So once again, the idiom is خيرها في غيرها. Here's the next idiom. يوم إلك ويوم عليك. Once again, يوم إلك ويوم عليك. The literal meaning is one day for you, one day on you. What it means in English is sometimes life is good, other times it's bad, but don't give up. So for instance, someone might utter this under their breath if they're having a stressful day at work, but they just came back from a nice, long, beautiful weekend with their family. Once again, the idiom is يوم إلك ويوم عليك. This is a nice and short idiom. الحركة بركة. الحركة بركة. The literal meaning is movement is a blessing. What that means is action is better than inaction. So in order to get things done, you need to act now. So a mom might say this to her child if she notices that he's been sitting on the couch watching movies all day, because she wants him to get up and do something active, do something that's better for him. Let's hear it once again. الحركة بركة. Next we have الدنيا دوارة. الدنيا دوارة. The literal meaning of this is the world is round. The common equivalent in English is what comes around goes around. Let's see an example scenario. Imagine you're telling a friend about a coworker who refused to help you. You might insert this idiom saying الدنيا دوارة, meaning that when that coworker is in need, he won't find anyone to help him out. So once again, the idiom is الدنيا دوارة. The next idiom is الصبر مفتاح الراحة. الصبر مفتاح الراحة. The literal meaning is, patience is the key to relaxation. In English, the equivalent saying is, patience is a virtue. You have the solution to easing your worry and being able to relax in your own hand. You just have to work on it. An example scenario would be a grandmother giving her daughter advice on how to handle her 2-year-old's tantrums. She would tell her, "Is-sabr muftah al-raha," that is, patience is a virtue, and soon this phase will pass. Once again, the idiom is, "Is-sabr muftah al-raha." Now we're going to move on to older idioms, so we're going to notice a shift in the language to more formal Arabic. First up, we have "ما خاب من استشار." ما خاب من استشار. The literal meaning for this is, he who seeks advice does not fail. The English equivalent is, two heads are better than one. It's important to seek advice before making a decision. Doing so could lead to better outcomes. So for instance, if a family is taking a trip and they're not 100% sure if they're reading the map accurately, but they have the opportunity to ask a local, one of the family members might say, "ما خاب من استشار." We won't lose anything by seeking advice from somebody more knowledgeable. So once again, the idiom is ما خاب من استشار. Next up, we have دق الحديد وهو حامي. دق الحديد وهو حامي. The literal meaning for this is strike when the iron is hot. That's also a very common saying in English. The meaning behind it is, don't hesitate, seize the opportunity when you can, use the opportunity when it's present. So for instance, if you're seeking advice from a friend to accept a job offer that is abroad, they might tell you, دق الحديد وهو حامي. So seize the opportunity while it's present. Next up is one of my favorite sayings because it's quite unique and also a bit silly. So in Arabic, it's غاب القط العب يا فار. غاب القط العب يا فار. The literal translation for this means, when the cat is away, the mice will play. And the meaning behind that is that people tend to behave badly when no one in authority is present. So for instance, if a teacher has to step away from her classrooms, the classroom will probably end up being chaotic. The students will be yelling and screaming. So that's the meaning behind, when the cat is away, the mice will play. Let's hear it one last time in Arabic. غاب القط العب يا فار. Next up we have رب ضارة نافعة. رب ضارة نافعة. The literal meaning behind this is, perhaps a harmful thing brings benefit. The common equivalent saying in English is, every cloud has a silver lining. What we think is bad might turn out to have some benefit in the end. So take for instance a football player that has just sprained their ankle and they have to sit out of competition. This time of rest allows them to study harder for their next math test. They've been failing in math, so it's very important that they ace their next exam because they have to keep their grade up to participate in sports. So since they cannot play football right now because of their injury, they have more time to study and they ace the exam, allowing them to continue playing after their injury has healed. So in this case, their mom might tell them, رب ضارة نافعة. The next idiom is also super common in English. ضرب عصفورين بحجر. ضرب عصفورين بحجر. The literal meaning of this is to hit two birds with one stone. The English equivalent is also to hit two birds with one stone. The meaning behind it is to achieve two things at the same time. So for instance, if you're planning to study history with your peer might tell you, also bring your science books so we can hit two birds with one stone. Or in Arabic that would be عشان نضرب عصفورين بحجر. And here's our last idiom for the day. مصائب قوم عند قوم فوائد. مصائب قوم عند قوم فوائد. The literal meaning for this is, the misfortunes of some are benefits to other, which means one man's loss is another man's gain. Situations can have different impacts on different groups. For instance, this applies to a scenario where there's a recession, where some people are misfortunate because they lose their job, while others benefit from it because, for instance, they can buy a house for a cheaper price. So once again, the idiom is مصائب قوم عند قوم فوائد. And I just want to point out that we're pronouncing the qaf in qawm because this is more formal, older Arabic, so we have less of the Levantine dialect in there. And those are all the common idioms we're going to learn today. This was a really fun video for me to make. I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. Don't forget to subscribe to be notified of my upcoming videos. Comment down below in the comments any video requests you may have, and I'll see you in the next video. Ma salama.